Okay, welcome. I wanted to give you a couple of things to make it absolutely the right decision. And here it is. When we are live. When we make decisions, the correct decisions, it's like watching a compass needle point true north, guiding you clearly through. So I'm connecting you this time through Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. But this is what I wanted to share with you. If you're somebody who's been working at your goals and you realize that there are a lot of things to do in your life, it might be a balance between what you're doing in your day job, what you're doing in your business, what you're doing with your family, and what you're doing with your health. But the biggest thing that we actually have control over is not just not just the start, not just beginning, but actually choosing choosing the things we're going to outsource or choosing the things we're going to do together or the things we're going to learn how to do from the beginning. I wrote that down yesterday and I thought this was really useful, but making the correct decisions, it's like watching a compass needle point true north, guiding you clearly through uncharted territories. It's like hearing the steady tick of a clock, each sound marking precise and dependable progress towards your goal. Like feeling the compass in your hand, its needle smoothly aligning as you adjust your course confidently. Now, what does that all mean? So, I guess in the way that you set up your business, the way that you work, the way that you run your workflow, you are always going to have your one point of strength, your one thing that you feel that you do better than anybody else. Or hopefully, some of your customers, some of your clients feel that you do better than anybody else they've come across, which is why they're your clients, which is why they've chosen you, which is why your business is thriving, growing, why you're doing your thing. When do you decide how much to outsource, how much to learn, and how much to do? I guess that depends on, do you want to be the teacher, the coach, or do you want to be somebody that implements a difference from where your clients are to where they want to go to? Or maybe you want to grow your own business from where it is today to where you want it to go to. The answer is always going to be the same thought process, the same type of decision making. And it'll start with a really basic premise of what's step one, what's step two, what's step three. But you will find that the biggest change, the biggest aha, the biggest pivot is when there's tools that come on board that can now do what you previously wanted to do yourself, but can now do it for you. When I was um, when I was writing my first draft, the first business, the first proposal, I started with a pen and paper and I wrote it down for myself. Then I transferred it by typing it out. Obviously, I used a spell checker. So that whether it's Grammarly or whether it's your Windows or your Apple device, it's going to give you the basic spell checking. You're not going to sit there with the dictionary. And yes, some of us are already perfect at writing and spelling and composing. But I don't think that anybody feels confused or conflicted when it comes to their autocorrect choosing something that is just misspelt. And then you're going to make the choice yourself whether you stick to whatever the recommendation is, or quite often what I find is I have to convert it to Australian English. I have to sometimes change it from the American English of COLOR to the Australian English of COLOUR. That happens all the time, and it's going to happen with AI. Why am I bringing up AI? I'm not trying to get onto the next trend. I'm not trying to get onto the next wave. I think that from what I've used myself, from how I balance my time, my busy schedule with the priorities that I really make to want to dent in, I allocate some things to a generative AI, to a scraping AI, to a spell checker, but not the creative things. not the things that I feel that, yeah, not the things that I feel that I really want to connect human to human with my client. But in reality, if you think of real estate, you think of property. In Australia last year, in 2023, we did 670,000 property transactions. We bought and sold, I don't mean me personally, in Australia, we bought and sold 670,000 properties. You don't have enough time to research all of that. Even if you go to the summary pages, even if you went to domain.com.au, even if you went to realestate.com.au and you just click on the summary for your city, just the summary for your suburb, even just that short summary is going to give you such an overwhelm of data. You need to somehow bring it down into what you actually care about. Otherwise, all you get is data, 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 and no result. To implement, to actually go from being a renter to a buyer, from a buyer to an owner, it takes a few steps. You might think it's just the negotiation. You might think that, yes, once I find the street that I like, I can make an offer. Once I make an offer, it'll be negotiated on. But it doesn't work that way. Things move so quickly, especially in Australia, especially the way that property, let me move this a little bit, but property, especially in the last few years, has been moving so quickly that as soon as a property is on the market, there is an offer on it. What you might find is that even before the property is listed on the market, even before it's officially on the market, there's an offer on it. It might be from a buyer's agent like me. It might be from somebody who's been searching for 6 months. And this might be your day one. This might be your week one. You realize that there's somebody who's always going to be ahead of you in the game because they started earlier or they have more energy or they can take Tuesday off and you're only available on Saturday. You'll never be the only one. At least not in our property market, not in our real estate market where there's so many other buyers out there. And you know what? The sellers know that they have a captive audience. They know that there's going to be more than one person making the offer. So you won't get surprised by that. So here's what's in it for you. If you think about advertising a property, if you think about marketing a property, if you think about what you want to spend your time on instead of what you want the process to be like, then you want to spend time face to face with the person you are negotiating with the person you're talking to, instead of spending hundreds of hours in front of a computer just researching, just typing, asking the question. If you can do the first step, and yes, you're going to get onto the computer and ask the basic questions and work out what suburb it's going to be in. If you can do the basic step of knowing, am I buying a unit, an apartment? Am I buying a house? Is it going to be freestanding? Is it going to be part of a strata? That's the kind of really basic stuff. But once you get past the basics and you have a rough idea of your budget, there's so much data and so much information to go through. Part of it you can do yourself, and part of it might be worthwhile to outsource to an expert that does it every day, that does it day in, day out. I'm going to organize something that I've used for myself, but I'm going to share it because part of what happens is we get lucky in who we speak to. And sometimes luck is just that you're out of your shell and you're actually speaking to people outside of your industry that you get to meet either in the office or on the street at a networking event. But I'm bringing to you an exclusive Zoom that is a speaker from the US speaking in Las Vegas in November this year. We have had a 2-year stint at Fishburners in Sydney. So if you've been to my office at Wynyard train station, you know that I sit in an area where a lot of the other people I work with that aren't in real estate, that aren't in financial or property technology, but they're in their own industry, they're experts. They're spending time, they're spending money, they're putting their energy into creating the best app, um, the best business, the newest thing to launch. one of my next door neighbors has agreed to show up for us on a Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock to explain how they create a complete business solution, starting from the concept, the prompt, the text, the copy, the ads, the videos, the script, all the little things, scraping and understanding what your competition is doing, knowing what keywords you need to use, all the behind the scenes things that go into Google ads, that go into Facebook ads, that go into Instagram ads, even that go into TikTok ads. All that comes from somewhere. And because you're not the path breaker, you're not the person who's the path blazer, you're learning from somebody who's already done it successfully, you can shortcut a lot of the wasted time, a lot of the energy that goes into trial and error. Don't be the first one to try something and fail. It's incredible when it goes really well for you, but if you try something and you fail and you've put $1 million, $2 million, $3 million of your own money into it, that hurts. That's 5 to 15 years worth of savings. So save yourself the long amount of time. The reason I'm putting this together is because I've learned from the best and I've applied and implemented the things that I've learned along the way. Atina is the speaker who's going to explain what she does for businesses in the US. Now, Atina's talking in front of a very large group of almost 10,000 people in Los Angeles about AI, about creating a business. Now, your business doesn't need to be AI. It can be property, it can be real estate, like it is in my business, my buyer's agency. But your business, as long as you're using the internet for something, as long as you're advertising on the internet and you're not purely a human to human generator, this will be for you. We're running it at Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. It's a very small group. So come in and prepare your questions ahead of time because Atina's doing this for me free of charge as a friend. So she's agreed to come in and host the Zoom. And when I MC somebody, if you've seen me interview somebody before, I ask the hard questions, the tough questions, the ones that I want answered for myself. But there'll be no recordings of this. I want to make sure that you're getting the best value. So if it's something that interests you, put below, DM me or send me a text message or just put a comment on either this Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok, wherever you communicate with me normally. Just send me a message, send me a text, let me know that you're available for Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Sydney time, 9 a.m. Sydney time, and I'll send you the invitation to the Zoom. It's so easy to come onto free events and get nothing from it. You feel like you're wasting time. This is the one time when you're actually getting that proximity from somebody who's succeeded in doing it, being awarded in Australia, now being awarded in the US, and speaking in front of a massive group in Los Angeles. So the people that get invited to speak, who Atina lives in Sydney, so for her to be invited to fly to the US and speak in front of a massive group of high value, high net value individuals, it's not a you got lucky. You have to demonstrate that you've done it, that it's transferable, and that you're going to entertain but also give something from your talk. So we're very lucky to have Atina speak to us. If there's something is, even if you're at the right at the beginning of your business building, or if you're about to go to a series of fundraising, Series A, if you're about to launch, if you're about to do your initial public offering, whatever stage of the market of the business you're in, if you're growing, if you're selling, if you want to analyze and make something of your business more than just your own efforts, and definitely if you don't want to just do trial and error, then let me know. Just send me a message. I'm happy to speak to you and let you know if it's for you, if it's not for you. I don't waste my time on free events because they cost me my time, they cost me my energy. So you're going to get a lot out of this. I know because I've seen Atina speak. I've spent probably about a year getting to know her really well. She's helped me on a lot of the things that I've done in Aussie Coast House Buyer. And if you've been to a few of her seminars, you'll see that she speaks really fast. She gives you a lot of value, but more importantly, you can implement something. So the question and answers that she comes up with are from worked examples that have already worked for people probably already in your industry, but definitely something where if you want to ask a specific question about your service, about your product, about your business, does it work? Is it a website? Is there a system that you can use? Is there a cheat sheet? Is there a checklist? Write them down, send me a message. I'm happy to ask before the Tuesday morning. So don't leave it to the last minute message. Don't leave it until the last minute because I just won't have time to communicate with her. She's flying out next week. I want to make sure that we get the right questions for my friends, for my connections, so that we can get the most out of the time where Atina's speaking. If you're not going to make it, you're not going to make it. I'm not doing a recording of it, but if you're going to be in the room, you're going to get a lot of content out of it. And there'll be things that you can use that you didn't even know you needed to ask. And that's what happens when you're not just doing things yourself, when you're actually going through somebody else's trial and error and you're learning from somebody's progress so that you don't need to start from zero. You can start from where they got to and then implement the rest. So be efficient with your time, be efficient with your energy. And I know you're going to get a lot out of this because I did the last time I saw Atina speak. She spoke for an hour and then answered questions for another 45 minutes. She gives a lot of value. You're going to absolutely love it. Tuesday, 9 a.m. Sydney time. Let me know if you're coming because I'll give you the Zoom link, obviously. But more importantly, I want to know what you want to know. What questions do you have for Atina so that we can send her a bunch of questions and hopefully you'll get to the frequently asked questions tab. So, yep, you got my details. My phone number is listed in the bio. So send me a text message or send me a message through a DM or a LinkedIn message. Whatever's easier for you. I'll speak to you soon. And some of you I'll see at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. That's Sydney time, 9 a.m. All right, speak to you soon. I hope that was useful. I know I love hearing the behind the scenes and I love getting into the rooms that, yes, there's fewer people there, but that's because we get more to the content and less to the long-winded stories. So I hope you got value out of this, but you're going to get more value out of Tuesday. So yeah, hit me up and I'll speak to you soon. Ciao.